Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Pastor Michael here, Present Devotions and Life Lessons teaching pastor, also the program director of Heart to Heart Refinement School. I am continuing this series on dating again with Jesus. Okay, this is applying the essential truths of Jesus Christ to our life so that we may learn to imitate some of the things that he taught us. Okay. That's what the second book on the spiritual side is all about. When I refer to building a house on Jesus Christ, I'm referring to Matthew 7:24 through 27. I'm going to read the English Standard Version starting with verse 24. And it is titled, Building Your House on the Rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. And the rains fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. But it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who builds his house on the sand. And the rains fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. Okay, we are referring to the general fall of man in relationships that fail because we fail to understand how to build our house. Okay, the house that I'm talking about is not the sticks and stones of where we live, but the home that holds our heart. Okay, you've all heard the phrase, our heart is where our home is, right? So I'm going to repeat a little bit. I just want to follow up how we got here, okay? Step number one in dating again with Jesus is to get acquainted, okay? We realize that we got acquainted, which is the first chart that we referred to on our chart was getting acquainted with Jesus, as you can see right there, okay? Getting acquainted, okay? We knew from the 7 Essential Truths of Jesus Christ, which is the spiritual book that goes with this study, we learned that we needed to be compassionate, okay? Not compassionate, but dedicated, okay? We are going to be talking about friendship and compassionate today, okay? I just wanted to recap and let you all know what it takes to build a teaching video of these types. It's a lot difficult to build a teaching video than it is to actually build a written teaching, because I have to prepare my notes. I have to prepare the charts that actually explain everything that we're doing, okay? If you want to know exactly where I'm teaching from, if you go to my personal page on here on Facebook, you'll see these posters on there, and you can enlarge those. You can also download those pictures and print them out and put them on your wall if you need to, or put them in your notebook. Okay. So step 2 of dating again with Jesus is about building friendships. Okay. So first of all, we needed to get acquainted, okay? And in my Dating Again book, it's going to give you ideas about how to get acquainted with somebody. If it's a romantic relationship, where do you find that person at? If it's a job that you're trying to get acquainted with, how do you go about doing that? If it's an education that you're trying to get acquainted with, how do you go about doing that? You need to order my books when they come online. I'm working on those books, and I'm getting a female counterpart to help co-write those books with me, because dating again with Jesus, or dating at all, has a lot to do with male and female intuition. It's not always about a man that can dictate or lecture you on how it should be done, okay? So I urge you, once the books come online, is to order those books, and you're going to be able to read a female's interpretation of everything that I'm talking about, her point of view. Okay, that's very important, okay? And that takes us into the step of friendship, okay? No matter what you're doing in life, friends, you have to have friendship, okay? You have to build that, okay? So what am I talking about when I talk about building a friendship? Where do you think friendship actually establishes when we're building, okay? Well, the friendship is the foundation to any relationship, whether it's a working relationship, an education relationship, or a romantic relationship. I want to show you a picture of what a footing on a house actually looks like. The foundation is what we're talking about, okay? If you look in this picture, you're going to see that it has the footers and the foundation, and then you're going to see gravel and the concrete and the rebars, okay? Okay, friends, you have to dig down into solid bedrock. You've got to dig down 3 or 4 feet depending on the area that you're living in, as I referred to the last video. But as you can see on the demonstration there is several things that go into making that video. Making that foundation. I want to show you some of what goes into that foundation, because that's going to help you to understand the importance of a friendship in any kind of a relationship, whether it's romance, work, or education, or your church family. You see, this is the mechanisms of the groundwork of how a foundation is built. You'll see the slab down there. That's the footer. That's the solid bedrock that the foundation is going to be built on. You also see there rebar that's lining the bottom of that, and then you see separators down at the bottom, and then you see rebar that has been started and up around the corner. And that plywood will actually hold the concrete that's going to hold your foundation. Okay, this is very important that you understand this. Okay, if you don't understand the way of building a house, you're going to fall. You're going to fail. Okay, next I'm going to show you a picture of a complete foundation as it's ready for a floor system, or to building walls after the floor is down. Okay, that's a lot of work to be able to build that. It takes a lot of time. Okay, now I have built several houses, and it takes probably 2 to 3 months to build a foundation. Okay, the foundation is very important when we're dealing with a relationship. And as you can tell on our chart, you can also see these charts, like I said, on my Facebook page. Okay, so we are building a friendship now. That's the foundation. And as you can see, it's called building a foundation. Okay, so what we want to do is, when we're building a foundation of a friendship, we get into trouble sometimes because we lack something. And that thing that we lack is called compassion. Okay, this is the 7 essential truths that Jesus taught us when he walked among us here, is to have compassion for our friends. Okay, what does it mean to have compassion? If we don't have compassion, can we sympathize with somebody having a bad day? If somebody's not treating us well, can we sympathize with that? Okay. A lot of people that ask me, how do we date, Michael? Or I've been married for so long and now I've got a divorce, and now how can I start dating? I don't even know the steps to take. Well, if you refer to my Dating Again book, you're going to have about 24 things that you can do in a friendship. Okay. Now, a friendship is not a sexual relationship, okay? And when you're building a friendship, you need to work on a foundation. And you need to keep this foundation going for the rest of your life, even into marriage. We need to be friends with our parents, with our brothers and sisters, with our coworkers, with our neighbors, okay? But being a friend, ladies and gentlemen, starts with me. It starts with you, okay? But how do we do that, okay? Number 1 is to choose your friends wisely, okay? Now, if you remember, The Way was the first program of Heart to Heart Refinement School. We're going to learn some character traits and qualities that are going to help you to be able to choose your friends wisely, okay? One of those is compatibility, okay? If you're in a relationship and you're not having much joy, you're going to have to bear that joy, because you're not going to have any gladness or happiness based on the circumstances, okay? So if you're always constantly miserable all the time, you need to check your compatibility, because you may be choosing your friends poorly and not wisely. Number 2 is to listen closely to your friends, okay? A lot of times in relationships, friends, we want to listen to respond and not listen to understand. And it's very, very, very important that number 3, that we respond carefully, okay? The fastest thing that's going to destroy your relationship is if you're responding out of a defensive attitude, out of bitterness. You've got to be able to respond carefully. Number 4, avoid consistently giving advice or trying to fix all of your friends' problems. I'm not trying to fix anybody's problems. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you by giving you a teaching video or a written teaching that you can take and you can pick it apart and you can apply whatever you want to that. Okay, it's all up to you. Because number 5, we need to play fair and avoid trying to one-up on your friends. A lot of times in friendships, we have a tendency to keep score. Okay, in dating relationships especially, he did that or she did that, so I need to get even with that person, or that person said something that hurt my feelings, so I'm going to say something back that's going to hurt that person's feelings. Okay, that's not playing fair. Okay, because that leads us to number 6. Number 6 is to be authentic. Okay, to be real. Okay, to be honest with yourself and with that person that you're in a relationship. Hold on, I got to get a drink. Well, welcome back after that pause. Number 7 in our list of 24 is to communicate openly and honestly. Okay, what is it that you want to communicate with your friend? If it's your boss or if it's your coworkers, are you openly and honestly communicating with them? Are you telling them what you expect of them as a teacher or as a boss? Are you telling your coworkers or your students what needs to be expected of them? Number 8, accept your friend for who he or she is. We're always trying to change our friends. We always have this agenda or this mold that we want to put our friends into, and that's not right. Okay, the compassion is very important when we talk about this. Okay. Number 9 says respect his or her choices, and it's okay to disagree. There's going to be conflicts that are going to come up. It's not always going to be the way you want it. It's not always going to be the way I want it. Okay. Number 10, be the kind of friend you want others to be to you. Okay. Do you want somebody to yell at you, raise your voice at you? Those are the same things that you need to give in return. Okay. Number 11 is to be empathetic. Try to understand things from your friend's point of view and help communicate and understand each other better. Okay, that's when you're empathetic towards somebody, you're going to try to put yourself in their shoes. Friendship is about being compassionate. Okay. Number 12, give compliments to your friend. If it's your boss, if it's your employees, if it's your teacher, if it's your classmates, your students, give them compliments. It's going to help them to want to stay in the friendship and show them that you do have some compassion towards them. Because number 13 says express your gratitude. A lot of times we enter into a friendship and we don't even show any gratitude that we're happy and we're excited that that person is our friend. Or we're not. Sometimes we need to be excited that that boss hired us, or we need to be excited that the teacher's actually taking time out of their day to teach us. Okay? Express your gratitude. Number 14, admit and apologize. Admit and apologize when you did something wrong. Okay? Own your part of this friendship. Okay? Number 15, let go. Okay, sometimes something's going to be said, something's going to happen. Let it go. Let it go. If it's something huge, talk about it. But if it's something small, don't keep score. Don't say, well, I'm going to keep this in the back of my mind and I'm going to write 20 of these things down. And when you fail me 20 times, I'm just going to end this friendship. Life is not like that. Because Jesus brings us compassion, right? Okay. So with compassion, friends, it says number 16, make time for your friend. Okay. We get really busy sometimes. We forget to say hello, good night. That's in romance. That's in building a romantic relationship that you may have. There's certain steps to building it, to building that foundation, okay? Number 17, keep your promises. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to show up, show up. If you're going to be late, Make time for your friend and say, hey, text them, call them, say, hey, I'm going to be late. I'm not going to get there on time. If you're going to be late for work, maybe call in a little bit ahead of time. So many of us have been late for work, and we get a write up because we failed to call in and say, hey, I'm going to be 15 or 20 minutes late. Okay. So keep your promises. Okay. Number 18, celebrate what you have in common. Okay. A lot of friendships are based on compatibility. Okay, find out where you're compatible at with that friendship. I have family members that I build friendships with because I'm compassionate to where they're at. Sometimes people say, well, Michael, you talk more than you listen. That's true. That's true. So I have to be patient, with people and make sure that I'm also listening to them and not. If you haven't seen somebody for a long time, you want to rush in there and you want to tell them how you're doing. But how many times do we actually stop and say, "Well, how you doing?" Okay. Okay. Number 19. So try new things together. If you're in a romantic relationship and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's going to get kind of old in your friendship. If you're going to the same restaurants, trying the same foods, switch it up a little bit. Try to share new experiences together. And number 20, have fun together. Life is about hardship. Sometimes life is about a lot of stress. And if we have a friend out there, even if it's a brother or a sister or mom or dad or aunt and uncle, let's try to have some fun together, okay? Because life is pretty serious and pretty stressful sometimes. And sometimes just joking could be something that's fun. If your family member or your significant other is teasing you and you don't like it, talk to them about it. Say, hey, this is not a good idea. I don't appreciate you doing this. Okay. And that takes us to number 21. Seek balance in your friendship. What does that mean, actually, to seek balance? Okay. Well, balance is on a scale. It's up or down. Okay. But you want to balance that straight across. If it's always up or always down, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. I've had relationships like that, and they are stressful. And it's hard to keep your mind and your own heart on your own identity and loving yourself when you're in a relationship that's going up and down emotionally. Okay, there's going to be points in you're building that friendship, that relationship, that's gonna bring you stress. It's gonna bring you conflict. But if you can keep your emotions like this, things are gonna be so much better for you. Okay. Leads us to number 22. Take equal responsibility for your friendship. Is it important to you? A lot of us that have family members, we forget to call our children, to text them, or to call or text our parents and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I just want to take the time to share the responsibility of this relationship, this friendship. And, my mom is probably one of my better friends. And I try, she tries too, but there's some other family members that we could try a little bit better. But sometimes it is as it is. And number 23, where friendship and compassion takes us, is to be a cheerleader. Can I cheer on somebody that's not cheering me on? Can you? We need to learn how to do that if we're going to be compassionate towards each other, because we need to be encouraging. We need to build each other up, right? Okay, number 24, keep personal information confidential. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean, basically, to keep personal information confidential? Okay, in a friendship, you're going to start talking to that friend, him or her. Your boss is going to say something to you. They're going to call you in the office and they're going to say something about somebody else. But keep that information confidential. You don't need to go out and tell your coworker, tell another family member, And in a friendship that's got the potential to be a romantic friendship, when you get into a period that you're starting to share those secrets, you're starting to share things that has a significant meaning, that's when you're ready to start dating that person, is when you can start sharing some intimate things that you would not normally share with just a normal friend. Okay, so as our faith grows, we're building trust in the friendship zone. Okay, again, refer to my flow chart. As you can see, that first thing that we were building is confidence. The second thing is trust. When I think of dedication, I got to think of getting acquainted with somebody, a job or a school education. I have to get acquainted with that. I have to be dedicated to that, and so does my teacher. So does my boss. Okay, so when it comes to friendships, dating, romantic relationships, you got to have some confidence, some self-confidence in yourself, and some self-confidence in that friendship. So people want to move too fast when they get acquainted, and they want to miss this friendship zone. Okay, friendship is not about sex. It's not about intimacy until you're into the dating period, but we'll be discussing that in our next teaching is the dating step, okay? But trust is important. When you remember back to peace, the fruit of the Spirit called peace, okay? If we don't have any peace, we're going to worry about a lot of things. And so God comes along, and we know that we have to have trust. We got to trust God, and we got to trust Jesus so we can have peace and not worry about those things. But just as God and Jesus take care of us, and we trust them to bring us that peace, we've got to be trustworthy ourselves, friends. We've got to be able to trust each other. And this is established in the friendship zone. Okay? If you don't trust your significant other, that person that you're a friend with, and you're thinking about going into a dating relationship with them, hold off on that. Hold off on that until you can absolutely 100% trust that person. You'll know this by how they speak to you, how they listen to you, how they treat you. Is it soft, is it gentle, or is it harsh and bitter? Okay? Trust. Okay? Build your trust first. That's what we're doing in the foundation of friendship. This is a very important level, and this level needs to go into your marriage. It needs to go into all your relationships, friendship. Okay? It's probably one of the most important aspects of what we're doing here, friends. Okay? Next time you see me on a video, I'm going to be talking about the dating level. Okay? That's where a lot of us think that sex is what dating is all about, and that's wrong. As a Christian, as a spiritual leader, I gotta say that's not what it's all about. But I'm going to leave that for the next video and show you and tell you what we're going to do in the dating step of dating again with Jesus and living as Jesus lived, as we apply those two books into our lives with other people. This is the essential truth of Jesus Christ, okay? If you can't build that trust, you're never going to be compassionate with each other, okay? Now, when you get into my books, the book Dating Again is just going to basically give you the second most important commandment is to love others as you love yourself. Well, how do you do that? Okay, Dating Again with Jesus is going to teach you how to do that. The first book, which is the 7 Essential Truths of Jesus Christ, is going to teach you the spiritual truths that you need to be able to apply to your life. Now, remember, dating again is important. It's not just dating again, it's working again, going to school again, because in this level, in this program, we have accepted Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. We want to walk with Him. We want to live with Him. We want to have fellowship with Him. And one of the things that I can tell you, amongst any other thing, is when you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, He becomes your brother, and God becomes your Father. Okay? It's a spiritual family. And what I like the best about other brothers and sisters that are also Christians is that we are also brothers and sisters. We don't have the same biological parents, but we have the same spiritual dad and the same spiritual brother. That's where my compassion comes in. That's probably why I do what I do for all of you, is because I know that there's some hurting people out there. And I know there's some hurting people that are watching this video right now. So if you're wondering what to do in dating, step number 1, get acquainted with that person. Be dedicated to it. And be confident in that. If you're not confident in that after the first couple of dates, get out of it. Trust me, get out of it. If you're feeling insecure in any way. That's not confidence. And after the second date, if you feel like you want to build a friendship, then that's going to take 3 or 4 months before you can actually start saying you're dating, that you're going with that person. Okay, because if you don't have compassion for that other person, you're never going to trust that person. Okay, that's a two-way street, my friends. God bless you all. If you need me, personal message me. I'll be glad to talk to you. Have a great day, friends.